Some stories begin in a hospital ward, under the watchful eyes of doctors. But not this one. This story begins with cries so small, so faint, that most of the world didn't think they were worth hearing.
Twist, twist, twist of fate radio.
At the turn of the 20th century, premature babies were often dismissed as nature's mistakes. They were frail, barely clinging to life. Hospitals even refused to treat them. Doctors insisted they couldn't survive, and in an age when the dark whispers of eugenics grew louder, the belief spread that these infants weren't meant to live at all. For parents, it was a heartbreak of the cruelest kind. Their babies were alive, breathing, tiny fists curling, hearts beating. Yet they were told there was nothing anyone would do. No treatment, no chance, no hope. But one man refused to look away. He saw not mistakes, but miracles. The trouble was, he wasn't even really a doctor. He had no medical degree, no license, no authority. Just courage, and a vision sparked by something unusual he'd once seen at a World's Fair. A strange glass box that could keep fragile newborns warm. He knew that warmth meant survival, and survival meant hope. So he made a decision. If hospitals would not open their doors, he would open his own. Not in a clinic, not in a university, but in the unlikeliest of places, among Ferris wheels, popcorn stands, and carnival barkers. Picture the scene. Coney Island, early 1900s. The scent of salt air mingles with cotton candy. Children laugh on the carousel. A barker calls out, luring you to the next spectacle. And tucked between the oddities and riders, you see it. A row of gleaming incubators, each holding a tiny, struggling infant. Visitors paid admission to look, and with every ticket purchased, the babies inside received the care that hospitals had denied them. Some people called it a freak show. Others scoffed at the audacity of parading fragile newborns like carnival exhibits. But parents didn't care about the ridicule. For them, this was the only chance their children had to live. Behind the glass, nurses and wet nurses worked tirelessly. Every ounce of milk was measured, every temperature carefully monitored, every heartbeat listened to with fierce attention. Slowly, babies once written off as hopeless began to grow stronger, their tiny fingers reaching toward life itself. And the numbers began to speak for themselves. For 4 decades, his incubator exhibitions became a lifeline. Families traveled from across the country to place their fragile newborns in his care. By the time his unusual exhibit finally closed in 1943, more than 7,000 children owed their survival to this unlikely champion. It was a strange paradox. What medicine had scorned as a sideshow, time revealed as salvation. The very glass incubators that the public gawked at on summer boardwalks would eventually become standard equipment in hospitals across America. And the man behind it all? He was no doctor, though he did call himself one. His name was Martin Couney. He may never have earned a medical license, but he earned something greater. The gratitude of thousands of families, and a legacy that changed modern medicine. Because compassion doesn't always wear a white coat. Sometimes it arrives wearing the mask of a showman. This has been Twist of Fate Radio. I'm Angela Clark. Until next time, remember, sometimes the smallest choices lead to the biggest consequences. Want to explore more stories like this? Visit twistoffateradio.com. There you can read more details about this story and others like it. Plus, you can submit your own Twist of Fate story to be considered for a future episode. You never know what twist of fate is coming next.